Michael, one of my favorite destinations in all of the United States is Mammoth Lakes in California. Before I went there, I didn't know where it was, so perhaps you might explain to the viewers, where is Mammoth Lakes?
Well, first of all, it's the place I call home.
Okay.
And I live there because it is a special place, as you experienced for yourself. It's in the middle of the Sierra Nevada mountains, about 5 hours by car north of Los Angeles, 5 hours by car kind of northwest of Las Vegas, and 4 to 5 hours east of San Francisco. But the landmark that everyone knows that we sit right on top of is we are 45 minutes away from Yosemite National Park.
Okay, so, and I suppose key there is that access via Las Vegas if you're traveling from the UK, but if you're traveling from Ireland, you can fly into San Francisco or LA, and that's the key.
Correct, and if you were so inclined, you could actually transfer in either LAX or SFO onto a United flight and fly directly into Mammoth Lakes.
Which is what I did. So it's a lovely, and you get this beautiful, it's an airport surrounded by the Sierra Nevada mountains. And
Get a window seat.
It's gorgeous.
It's a great flight.
I was there in winter, and so we're familiar with Colorado ski destinations, we're familiar with Canada, obviously. Mammoth Lakes, though, is one of those that mightn't be all that known in international markets, but yet this is one of the premier ski destinations in the US.
Yeah, so Mammoth Lakes is home to Mammoth Mountain. Mammoth Mountain is the third most visited ski resort in the United States. So unlike the resorts you mentioned, Vail is number one in terms of skier visits, Breckenridge is number two, and Mammoth Mountain is number three. Now, the majority of our visitors tend to be domestic, and they are weekend drive patrons. So what that means on the international side, if you're so lucky to get to California on a ski holiday, if you ski midweek, you have the mountain to yourself. It's fully functioning, fully operational. On the weekends, you'll have 22, 24, 25,000 people. On a Tuesday, 1,200, 1,500.
Okay, and what altitude are we talking at? I'm just going to talk about snow cover, but
yeah.
So what altitude is Mammoth Mountain?
So the town sits at an elevation of about 2,200 meters.
Okay, so it's pretty high.
Yeah, that's the town. That's where the mountain starts. And the mountain caps off at about 3,300 meters. So we're as high as anything in Colorado, we're as high as anything in the western United States, and we're much higher than most of the European resorts.
I was going to say that. So that altitude, does that guarantee, and of course you make fresh powder anyway, but does it guarantee like good decent snowfall pretty much throughout the season?
Yeah, so to kind of give you the long-winded answer, and I'll try to be succinct about this, the Sierra Nevada mountains go down California, kind of like the spine in your back, and there's a gap right in front on the west side of Mammoth Mountain where the elevations on the ridge on the Sierra crest get really low. So what happens is all those storms that roll in off the Pacific, they funnel into that gap and they hit Mammoth Mountain from the west side like a fire hose. So that is what gives us that legendary snowpack that really we start skiing at the second week in November, and most years we ski until the 4th of July.
Okay, oh really?
Yeah, so last year was an average year. We were a little bit light, but our numbers for average are huge compared to anyone else, and we skied until the end of May.
And is it true that the US Olympic ski team trains in Mammoth?
It is. It's the official Olympic training mountain for the US freeride and snowboard team.
Okay, well, that's great. In terms of hotel accommodation, like you're saying you're not getting the numbers that international visitors that might go to Vail or Breckenridge or maybe even the mountains of New Hampshire. But at the same time, from what I remember, there is plenty of accommodation options in the area.
Yeah, we've got about 4,000 hotel rooms, whether it's a condo or traditional hotel, motel.
Yeah.
The vast majority of them are at the 3-star price point, so very, very affordable. You're getting great value for your dollar. We do have a 4-star property. It's a Westin, but we also have a lot
I think I've stayed in that one.
You got to stay in that.
I
We
did.
took care of you.
It's nice.
But we also have a lot of private homes that are available for rental. It could be ski in, ski out, or it could be situated in the middle of town. So you have a lot of diversity.
And in a post-pandemic landscape, and I'm seeing this, is that there is maybe between 10 and 20% better value, even on good value, that there was before the pandemic. Is that also true of Mammoth Lakes?
Absolutely. Especially, if, again, circling back to midweek. If you come midweek, you're going to have outstanding value, great bang for your buck. not only from a lodging and a food and beverage perspective, but from the overall experience on the mountain. So weekends the rates go up because, again, that's when our domestic skiers come and patronize the mountain. But midweek, the experience is fantastic.
But does it compare favorably in terms of price point to the aforementioned Colorado destinations?
It does, because it's much lower.
Okay.
It's a much lower price point. The entry level price point is going to be much more digestible, much easier value. Those other resorts tend to be a little bit more fashionable, I guess might be the word.
Sure.
Yeah. As you probably remember about Mammoth Lakes and Mammoth Mountain, we are a blue jean town. We are casual, we are authentic, we have a very, very authentic soul.
But also, I mean, it is worth pointing out that what Americans think of kind of 3-star is pretty high. It's pretty high. It's pretty comfortable. It's big. It's warm. Everything is nice.
Yeah.
Certainly, well, I stayed in Weston, so but generally speaking, around the town, it had this lovely kind of welcoming atmosphere there.
Absolutely. I have a favorite saying I like to throw out there, in a ski resort like Aspen or Vail or maybe a Chamonix or even Whistler Blackcomb, you're going to see more people wearing fur jackets than not. In Mammoth, you're going to see more people with powder skis than fur jackets.
Very good. It is also worth, and I've never had experience of this, but I am assured repeatedly in the years since I've been to Mammoth, that Mammoth, as much as it is a great winter destination, it's also an amazing summer destination. So perhaps articulate for us, what is the big draw in Mammoth in summertime? Yeah,
it's funny, when our team at Mammoth Lakes Tourism first started planting the flag for summer visitation, at that time we were known as a ski resort with a town. And people boarded up and let staff go for pretty much the entire summer into autumn until the following ski season was ramping up. So we really made a focus of promoting summer experience at Mammoth Lakes. There's an unbelievable plethora of outdoor adventure. It's kind of like ground zero, especially for a California resort. You can mountain bike, you can horseback ride, you can play golf on either of our 2 courses, you can go fly fishing, you can go stand-up paddleboarding. The reason the town is called Mammoth Lakes is we actually have 7 lakes interconnected right in the town boundaries. But 30 kilometers around the town, we have 100 lakes. So literally you can go to a lake that's well patronized, or if you want your own private experience, you just have to find a trail, head back in the backcountry for half hour, maybe 2 hours, and you have your own private lake, Lake Fionn.
Lake Fionn, yeah. I like Mono Lake.
Mono Lake is gorgeous.
I mean, I can't even describe how gorgeous Mono Lake is.
It's a bit of a spiritual place.
Oh, it's an amazing. It's one of the most beautiful places I've ever been to. Really what we're talking about is we have the landscapes that people travel thousands of miles to go to Yosemite, but without the crowds.
Yeah.
So I think that's a good selling point.
Yeah, absolutely. And if you do want to see Yosemite, we're 45 minutes from the east entrance. So it's an easy day trip to get into Yosemite, about an hour and a half from my front door of my house to the actual valley floor of Yosemite. You're down there, you're seeing the waterfalls, you're doing the hikes. But one of the downsides of Yosemite is it has a very limited amount of lodging.
Yeah.
So it's very expensive and you have to book it more than a year in advance. Whereas Mammoth Lakes, we've got 4,000 rooms. It's a much better value. You come back to town after experiencing Yosemite. You've got 70 restaurants to choose from elegant French all the way down to American barbecue. Whereas the park, it's maybe chicken strips and French fries.
But they're really the best chicken strips and the best French fries.
Or at least the ones with the best view.
Absolutely. One of the things, one of the key messages coming out of Visit California, certainly since the reopening or the proposed reopening, which obviously is coming next month, is that road trips, the great outdoors, go and explore other parts of California other than the ones you might be familiar with.
Yeah.
So it's Route 1, it's San Francisco, LA, all great in their own right. But Mammoth very much fits that kind of refocus of the California experience.
Yeah, they're preaching to the choir with that one. We love that the California road trip message is just right up our wheelhouse. So California has 2 official scenic highways. You have Highway 1, which goes down the coast, mainly traveled from San Francisco to Los Angeles.
So you have the ocean on your right side.
It's gorgeous. It's a great, great experience. But, that story's been told.
Sure.
The other official scenic highway of the state of California is the Highway 395, which comes out of LA, goes across the Mojave Desert. And really, when you pick up the highway, when you go through a little town called Lone Pine, From there, it's 2 hours to Mammoth. It's another 3 hours to Lake Tahoe. And the different experience from Highway 1 is as you're going south to north, the great desert of Nevada sweeps away to your right-hand side. So a long, long stretch of straight. But on the driver's side, well, driver for American, the left-hand side, the Sierra Nevada mountains go up literally like a shower curtain from the side of the highway, like straight up, thousands and thousands of feet. It's very dramatic.
You have me sold. And then finally, I mean, there are California-wide protocols in a post-COVID landscape. How do they apply in this wonderful frontier wonderland that is Mammoth Lakes?
Well, the current protocols in the state of California, we do have a mask mandate indoors. So whether you're shopping or eating, you have to wear a mask. When you sit down at your table, you can take your mask off. I think really only the airlines are enforcing the bite, sip, mask back on thing.
Yeah.
Pretty casual when you sit down, especially if you're in intimate company of family or friends. Outdoor, when you're doing experiences or just hiking or walking down the sidewalk, a mask is not required. Indoor events, if the fully vaccinated mandate is not in effect, then they will ask people to show a proof of a negative test before an indoor event.
Okay.
Outdoor events, there are no mandates.
But it's a moot point for international travelers who will need to be vaccinated before being allowed in anyway.
Correct.
So you will have your COVID passport.
Correct.
When you're there. So really, it doesn't really make any material difference whatsoever. Michael, you've reminded me of how wonderful Mammoth is. I can't wait to go back. So it's been a pleasure catching up.
I'm ready to go home. We just got a meter of snow yesterday, so I'm ready to get the sticks out of the garage and go play.
It sounds
and
good.
Start my winter beard.
You need to do that.
No.
Michael usually has a much fuller beard. He really fits the frontier landscape.
Kind of gray now. Every year it comes in a little grayer.
A pleasure.
You got it, my friend.
Thank you very much.
We'll see you back in Mammoth.
I hope so.